Good morning. It has been a better one. Good morning. Welcome to two sessions, one after the other. So I'm going to have a marathon run today, one before lunch, one after lunch. So we are moving into another pillar of management. We have covered two pillars so far. What are those? Planning and organizing. So we are moving into the third pillar, which is, sorry, something went wrong. Please, done. So we are moving into the third pillar today, which is leading. Leading. Having covered planning and organizing, then how to lead people. But if you remember 2 weeks ago, we stopped with a video, isn't it? Second part of the case study on Richard Lewis. And also we have another homework. Shall we first go through Richard Lewis's story? Organize the unorganized manager becoming an organized manager. Have you captured some notes from the video? So the first part ended with a negative tone, second part ended in a positive tone, isn't it? Unorganized manager became an organized manager. So what are the key points you captured from second part? Now St. Peter is guiding Richard Lewis to become an organized manager. So what is the starting point? He pasted a sticker onto his shirt pocket. What did the sticker say? What am I here for? So the simple term is what? One word, purpose. Purpose-driven life, purpose-driven approach. So you have to be very clear about your purpose. From the purpose comes another word, a plural word, P word. What is the P word? Priorities. Priorities. Priorities come from the purpose. So you have to prioritize your time. You have to prioritize your activities. So there are two types of activities. What are those? Active positive tasks and reactive tasks. So active positive tasks should be given enough priority. And only if your time remains, you have to give time for the reactive tasks. And again, more than anything else, you have two sides. Organizing. First, you have to organize yourself and then you can organize others. Any other points? So in organizing yourself, you have to have the purpose and priorities. Then in organizing others, what is the magical word? D word? Delegation. You have to delegate. So when Richard Lewis started delegating to his secretary, first he gave just a task. So did she do a good job? No. She was reluctant. She said, I can't. And then what is the truth? You can't delegate without training. You have to train people. So delegation and development go hand in hand, isn't it? You can't delegate without proper training. And once the secretary was trained, she did a better job, isn't it? Then what else? And when earlier Richard Lewis was struggling for time, now he has plenty of time. He said, I have 1 hour left. Then St. Peter arranges a meeting with whom? Finance director once again. So compare the first meeting with finance director and the second meeting. What is the difference? In the first meeting, who took the upper hand? Finance director. Second meeting? Richard Lewis. What is the reason? Richard Lewis went prepared. He did his homework. He was ready with numbers. He took the upper hand. Isn't it? And there's another categorization of time. Importance and urgency. If something is important, means what? It's linked to your purpose. If it is not important, means it's not linked to your purpose. And urgency means what? If something is urgent, means you have to do it now. There's no way of postponing. If it is not urgent, you can schedule time, isn't it? So what is St. Peter's advice with regard to urgency? Urgency means you have to do it. So you have to stop everything and do that, and it's off. I still remember, was it 4 years ago? 3 years ago, where on a Sunday afternoon, I was doing a session, this very hall. And I saw people getting disturbed and SMSs coming. Some were peeping from the window. I thought something is going wrong. And then Mr. Anupura came and said, Sapi class now too. Why? Easter Sunday attack. We were inside. We didn't know what we started getting finish it. Done. But if it is not urgent, then we can be flexible, isn't it? We can prioritize, we can schedule time. Clear? Okay. Then I like the final scene, home front. So what happens now? The father who forgot son's birthday is now playing with the son. Is the son happy? He said, super dad. And he says, come on, get ready. We are going to go to the cinema. And the wife asks, how about your work? He said, work I do in office. See, complete transformation from unorganized manager to a organized manager. So the question I ask you to keep in the back of your mind, is there a Richard Lewis in me? So what do you think now? So what is the good news? Richard Lewis in you can be changed, can be transformed. Listen. Shall I give a big round of applause to Richard Lewis? Okay. So something we can learn from it, isn't it? And now the other homework. Evaluation of structures. Have you done that? Shall you go through line by line? I need your support. First one, functional. So what is the key advantage? Very simple. Key advantage. Just one. Simplicity. It's the simplest. Sorry? That's an advantage, but key advantage. Key means the biggest. Simplicity. It's the most elementary one. It's simplicity. So what is the key disadvantage? Sorry? Clear line of authority. Yes, that's also good. Key advantage, clear line of authority or simplicity. Key disadvantage? Sorry? Limited application. Good. Oh, you can say cannot accommodate complex situations. It's very limited. Because it's only for a very limited way. So key current application. Current application. Top-down hierarchical. A startup company. Startup company where me and my friends, I'm handling finance, you are handling HR, you are handling. So very small elementary organization. Okay. Second one, divisional. What is the key advantage? Flexibility of what? Sorry? Respond to change. But remember the word division means? Someone earlier mentioned that. Special focus onto the divisional requirements. So divisional requirements are met. So what is the key disadvantage? Say if you have one division, there's R&D, there's another division. Say agri division has R&D, duplication of resources. Duplication of resources. That's the key disadvantage. Key current application. Key current application. Sorry? That's vague, but you have to be specific. Say, you can say a bank having branches. Bank having branches. Or you can say SME, sorry, a medium size organization having presence in different parts of the country, different divisions. Or another application could be a company having, say, automobile company having car division, tractor division, motorcycle division, and like that. So that also can be. Okay. Third one, matrix. What is the key advantage? Key advantage. Sorry? More collaboration with two bosses, isn't it? With two boss employees. Isn't it? You have functional boss and a operational boss. So what is the key disadvantage? Decision-making process slows down. Good try. Good try. Any other ideas? Stress of whom? Stress of two boss employees. So again, sometimes you can use the word may. May create stressful situations. May. I mean, it's not always, not definitive, but may create stressful situations for two boss employees, isn't it? If two bosses are in good wavelength, then you are the happiest. You get two sides for coaching, guiding. But if both are in loggerheads, then you are at the receiving end. Talmasun then okay, so you get squeezed from both sides, isn't it? So there's a stressful, there might be a possibility. So what is the key current application? Any guess? So what have you written? Sorry? Construction company. Construction company. Construction company, then who are the two bosses? Functional and project-wise. Okay, so then you can say project-based construction company, or even I'm looking at IT firm having different products and different clients. So product-based, you might have one boss. Functional-based, you might have another boss. As an industry, I can see IT has more metrics organization. And then next one, team-based, what is the key advantage? Someone earlier used that term. Effort, flexibility. More flexible arrangement, isn't it? Flexi arrangement. Flexibility. What is the key disadvantage? It is a very strong bond or very loose bond? Loose bond. So create service breakdowns, isn't it? Because it's service level agreement, no? So if they don't work together, there's no hierarchical pressure, isn't it? It's very loosely connected teams. May create service breakdown. What about the key current application? Sorry? IT, yeah, IT company or even consultancy company. I saw recently Deloitte Consulting has a team structure. Deloitte Consulting, one of the top 3 consultancy firms in the world, team structure. So consulting team, back office team, sales team, HR team, and so on. Okay. The next one, network. What is the key advantage? So why you go for a network structure? Simple reason is what? It is based on outsourcing, isn't it? So why do you go for outsourcing? Cost advantage, cost effective. It's a cost effective structure. What is the key disadvantage? I gave you the example of Oriflame, and then one company in Canada, one company in. But are they branches? Are they subsidiaries? There's no common identity. Say the accounting company in New Delhi might do accounts for many other companies. The design company in Canada might do design for many other companies. So there's no common bond. They are just doing a service. So there's no common identity among the network players. So what is the current application? Any guess? Sorry? No, current application. Supply chain is a structure support thing. How about this Airtel has that operation, say mobile communication company. They have outsourced marketing, outsourced technical support. A mobile communication company, or even perfume manufacturer. I gave perfume brand Oriflame. Like even it could be outsourced. Certain process outsourced. But don't give a company name. Give a generic one. So you can say what else? What are the examples? Yeah. But that is not network structure. Janitorial outsourcing those things, but they are not coming to reporting. That's more service outs. But here you outsource to a particular company. Say packaging is done by one company, distribution done by another company, and then the legal work done by another company. You can say what are the other examples? Say a company owning a consumer brand, a brand owning consumer brand company. I was told by a Sri Lankan exporter of vegetables and fruits. He said he is exporting to Middle East. And how does that happen? There's a company in Middle East where he exports from the raw form, raw pineapple, raw mango, and they do all the processing, and they get packaging material from China. They get, and there's a distribution company who distributes to the Middle Eastern supermarkets. But our person is only supplying raw fruits and raw vegetables. So it's a network structure, isn't it? So even though our person is the owner, other work is done by other, and then supply chain is created through that. Okay, finally, hybrid. What is the key advantage? Hybrid. High flexibility. In other words, you can say the exact requirements of each subsidiary can be accommodated. Say one subsidiary might need functional structure, another subsidiary might need divisional structure, another subsidiary might need network structure. It's like John Keel's, I gave the example. No? John Keel's automation might need metrics. Then Ceylon cold stores, very old, might need functional structure, isn't it? It's like that. You might have different structures for different subsidiaries. But having done that, what is the key disadvantage? Opposite to functional. Hugely complex, isn't it? And you can't trace one common level. Say if you want to transfer one employee from one subsidiary to another subsidiary, very difficult to find equivalent level because structures are completely different. What is the key current application? Come on, anyone. So what is the common word for John Keel's, Haley's, Atkinson? Conglomerate. A conglomerate having different SPUs in different industries, isn't it? Conglomerate having different SPUs in different industries. Are we clear? So this is the sharpness you need to have, preciseness you need to have. So when you say current application, don't give a company name, give the descriptive way. Clear? So if you can fill this table, that is good enough. That's the level of knowledge you need to have. Okay? Any other questions? All fine? Good. So with that, let's move on to today's topic. Sorry, before that, group assignment. I have not spent time, isn't it? Now that you have uploaded your individual assignment, I have given you 2 extensions. So to accommodate your requirement. So that's done. Now the next one, no extensions, right? No non-negotiable timeline is 13th September. So what you need to do, now how many groups you have? 4. So you have to have only 1 can upload. So 4 reports I'm expecting. Select an organization of your choice and critically comment on its organization structure. So when you say critically commenting, a few things. Whether the structure is fitting the strategy. Remember, we learn structure follows the strategy. Is the strategic fit is there? And is the structure effective enough? If you see a very tall, functional structure, whereas the metric structure can be more suitable, you can comment. Appropriateness of the structure. And then the number of layers. Is it a very tall one or a flat one? So the way the world is moving, what is the better one? Tall structure or a flat structure? Which is better? Flat structure. Flat structure is better. And are there clear reporting levels? Are there clear divisions? So like that you can comment. Consider key product or service in the organization and okay, controlling I will cover in the afternoon. Second question I'll explain in the afternoon. So first question is about organizing, which we have covered. Second question is about controlling, which we will cover in the afternoon. And then 3 improvement areas could be from organizing, could be from controlling. And then provide recommendation to improvement areas, irritable issue, recommendation, timeline, output and outcome. Okay. So now there are more brains than one single brain. So higher number of words. Minimum 3,000, maximum 3,000. So maximum limit, I am little flexible. So if you say, oh my God, we have got 3,302, that's all right. 2 words extra won't penalize you. But minimum, I'm very particular. So 3,000 doesn't mean 2,900. Minimum limit, I'm very serious. Maximum limit, I'm flexible. But it doesn't mean that you should write, you should do 6,000. somewhere little tolerance I'll give, but minimum absolutely necessary. Maximum I'm flexible. Okay. And then excluding annexures, cover page, declaration page, you know that, isn't it? I have not started marking your assignments, but I'll see whether I could give you feedback before you submit on 13th, isn't it? I think we have about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So if I give feedback, it will be useful, no, for you to incorporate them to your group assignments. I'll try to do that. Hopefully within next week, I should be able to do that. Okay. Any questions? Of course, the question number 2, you will get the answer this.
Sir, sorry, sir, it's online
Anything
here,
else?
right? Mahendran.
Make it a
Hello,
progress
sir.
rather than waiting to the. Sorry, yes, please tell me.
Yeah, so, sir, the one which we have submitted, you wanted to revise us, is it?
No, that's done. Individual assignment. Now, my
Okay,
point
this
is
is
that
going to be a group assignment. Yeah,
no,
okay,
no. I will give feedback. You can
Okay.
incorporate those feedback to do a better job. That's what I said.
Right. Okay, got it, sir.
So it's a feedback, and you don't have to resubmit. Don't worry. I'm not making your
Sorry,
life
I just
miserable.
joined it, so I couldn't follow it. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Thank you, sir.
so in other words, I will give individual feedback. I will put some comments so you can improve on those things. For example, during our time, we were victimized if we have not spelled the word Javardhanapura properly. Professor used to put 0 and throw it back. It was physical one. So I'll check whether you have spelled Javardhanapura properly, whether you have got your signature and the cover pages. So like that, I can give some comments. It's about content and the depth and breadth about it. So those are for your own improvement. So next time when you do an individual assignment, you can improve. And when you do the group assignment, you can still improve, isn't it? So that's for your improvement purpose. Otherwise, no resubmission. My God, no. Nothing like that. Any other questions? So my dear 8 virtual participants, any other questions? I have not forgotten you. Any other questions? All fine?
No, sir. Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay, good. Shall we move on then for today's topic, which is third pillar, leading. But we need to be very clear, leading, leadership, and management. How do we separate? I had this confusion as an MBA student. We talk about leadership, we talk about management, and we talk about managers and leaders. In management, we have leading as a pillar, leading as a function. How do we connect? So this is how I sorted this out. This is not in the textbook, but this is how I sorted it out. Management, as you know, is a process, isn't it? Which has 4 pillars. What are the 4 pillars? Planning, organizing, leading, and control. So management is a process, whereas leadership is a phenomenon. Leadership is a phenomenon. Let me write down the 2 words. Management is a process. Process. Leadership, phenomenon. 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 Sandarbha. Phenomenon. Very deep, very broad. And there was this researcher called Strogdill. Researcher called Strog, Strogdill, Strogdill, said leadership is vastly researched, least understood phenomenon on earth. Vastly researched, least understood phenomenon on earth. So if you go to any management bookstore, I would bet you get many books on leadership than any other topic. Every day new books are being published. But still what we know about leadership compared to what we don't know about leadership, what we don't know is far higher. Isn't it? So it's a phenomenon, never-ending phenomenon. So that's why there's no upper limit. So when Institute of Taxation, now it's Chartered Institute of Taxation, they have their magazine, they want me to write an article on leadership. So I included this diagram and I had to remind them 3 times. It went back and forth because the typesetter did the mistake by having this and this. I said it is wrong. They said, no, it's not wrong. I said, yes, it is wrong. Because why it is wrong? It should be not like that. It should be wide. Sorry, it should be wide open. It should be like U, or inverted. In mathematics, we call it hyperbola, isn't it? Inverted hyperbola or U. There's no close. It's an open area. So it's not a oval turned. But this is very specific. Why? It's a process. Planning, organizing, leading. This has a never ending. So overlap between management and leadership is leading. Overlap between management and... So I'm 100% clear on this now, no confusion. So if anyone asks from you, what is the difference between management and leadership? This should be the explanation, isn't it? So this was an exam question in the past. Discuss the difference between management and leadership. And where do you put leading? So we are going to talk about leading, isn't it? Leading. Clear? So it's part of management, part of leadership. So then we have to talk about leadership with regard to leading. So what is leadership? They say the only ship that survives the storm is leadership. Only ship that survives the storm is leadership. So let's talk about a ship. So what sort of ship you see here? What is it made of? Wood. So then what is the main raw material? Timber. From where do you get timber? Trees. Where do you get trees? Forest. Very interesting statement. Shall you all read out? If you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men to go to the forest to gather wood, saw it and nail the planks together. Then you might ask, then how can we make the ship? Instead, teach them the desire for the sea. Say with me. Instead, teach them the desire for the sea. So said Antoine d'Saint-Exupéry, French writer and a World War II pilot. If you carefully look at his statement, there are 2 approaches towards people. To give a clue, up to this point, approach 1. Beyond this point, approach 2. Now tell me, what is approach 1 and what is approach 2? Anyone? What is approach 1 and what is approach 2? In approach 1, what happens? You tell people, do this, do that, then do that, and they will do that and nothing but that. In second approach, you will not tell, but you create the desire. I presented this in a Doromadala program. I used 2 singular words, Dakkaganayama and Dakmakkatuya. Viciously driving and visionarily driving. In the first one, people do because of pressure. Second one, people do out of pleasure. Because when they are created enthusiasm, they say, wow, let's go to the sea. But we need a vehicle to go to the sea. We don't have a ship. We'll build our own ship. Let's go to the forest. We'll get the wood. We'll make our own ship. They will go extra mile, isn't it? They will go extra mile. So tell me, which approach is more relevant to leadership? Approach 1 or approach 2? Obviously, approach 2. That's the beginning of leadership. I can say in essence, leadership is all about triple I's: inspiring, influencing, and initiating. Before that, talking about the ship. So if you compare ship, sea, and the people to a typical business setting, what is sea for us? What is ship for us? Who are the people? Sea, ship, and people. How do you compare to the business world? Think and tell me. Is C always calm, quiet, static, predictable? No. Then what is the best comparison? External market, competitive business. Then the ship, organized. And the people, employees. A ship is sailing from one harbor to another harbor, isn't it? So what is the final harbor? Ultimate harbor. Vision. Very good. Vision. Ultimate harbor is vision. Okay. So the ship is sailing towards the vision. So what are the three I's? Say out loud. Inspiring, influencing, and initiating. So when I mentioned the word leadership, who are the leaders that come to your mind? Who are the leaders? Just tell me a few names. Martin Luther King. What are the other names? Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. They're from political spheres of life. What about other spheres? Sporting world. Arjun Ranatunga, who brought cricketing fame in 1996. I still have my highest regard to Arjun Ranatunga, the cricketer. Not thereafter. The cricketer, I have my highest respect. Who else? Sorry? Pele, the soccer king, they say, no, Pele. Then from the other fields, business field, there were two people, and Forbes magazine called them frenemies, friendly enemies in IT. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, frenemies. And by the way, are they all men? What about ladies? In fact, one of my favorite leaders is Saint Mother Teresa of Kolkata, isn't it? Coming from rich background in Armenia, leaving everything aside, started taking care of the deserted children in India, isn't it? Saint Mother Teresa. So leaders are found in different spheres of life. But one common thread is that all of them did this, isn't it? Inspiring, influencing. So you inspire from your words, the words you utter. And think about all great religious leaders. Buddha, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Hindu gurus. Weren't they inspiring others? Obvious, isn't it? So you inspire from the words. You influence from the deeds, your actions. And initiating the seeds that you sow. Palyak hitono, bija hitono, palyak khatagan. Initiating the seeds, the new ideas. I'll give you one real example. I was in Ahmedabad, India last August. So I was taken to a place called Subarmati Ashram, which is next to Subarmati River. It's a very wide river, but not as beautiful as our rivers. So Subarmati Ashram is a very special place, huge tourist attraction. There's a museum. The museum contains all the stuff used by a great leader. Who? Mahatma Gandhi. His spinning wheel, where he made his own clothes, khada clothes, still there. So he spent his early years in Subarmati Ashram. That's where he led the freedom struggle. And then he launched Ahimsa movement, non-violent way of protesting. So it is not what we see in Lipton Square, isn't it? So Lipton Square, when the police fire tear gases, people take stones and throw back. So that is tit for tat, not Ahimsa. Ahimsa is very, very deep. It's a spiritual response. If time permits, we are going to watch a video where it says, they may torture me, they may hit me, they may attack me, they can get my body, but not my obedience, not my consent. Very powerful. So if you really practice Ahimsa, you are being beaten, you are being hit, you respond spiritually. That's a power, isn't it? That's a very powerful thing. So Gandhi had inspiring words, influencing deeds, and initiating seeds. Ahimsa. And if you take a business leader, take Sir Richard Branson, the Virgin Group chairman, isn't it? He is very inspiring, and he influenced others by setting an example, and he initiated a lot of new things. Virgin Rails, Virgin Planes, Virgin Galactic, and so on. Plenty of examples. So what are the triple I's once again? Inspiring, influencing, initiating. So ask the fundamental question, am I inspiring others enough? Am I influencing others enough? Am I initiating things with others enough? If the answer is no, that can be an improvement area. Okay? Any questions? Nope. Leading is what? Now we can summarize the whole thing into one paragraph. Shall you read out? Leading is the process where a person exerts influence over others and inspires, motivates, and directs the activities to achieve goals. So the moment you mention leadership, followership also there. Followership. Leaders have followers, or leaders have supporters. Leaders have members, isn't it? They together work. Leadership in literature. It is nothing new. Leadership has been there from time immemorial. Anadimat kalakendra. Even in the hunting era, there was leadership where people chase animals to kill animals. Now we have come a long way. Instead of killing animals, to go to kills or kargils to buy killed animals. In the long journey, leadership has always been there. So what is this picture? Vannu Pathajatak, isn't it? So hundreds of bullock carts were crossing a desert and they ran out of water, and the leader summoned a team. I think I shared this story earlier as well. So leadership in action. From east to the Middle East. Sorry, in the Jataka story, Bodhisattva is portrayed as a leader in more than 40% of the Jataka story. From east to the Middle East, if you look at the Holy Bible, that's a very powerful symbol for a leader. I am the good shepherd. Shepherd and sheep. Very interesting way of connecting leader and followers. We also have a parallel in dry zone in Sri Lanka. Herdsmen and cattle. Enderasa Betalu, Gopalasa Gavaral. There's a fundamental difference between shepherd and a herdsman. What is the difference? Fundamental difference. Can someone tell me? Don't tell me shepherd looks after sheep and herdsman look after cattle. That's obvious. But what is not so obvious difference? Think and tell me. It is where they walk. Shepherd walks in front and the sheep follow the shepherd. Whereas herdsman walks in the back and jakmak and the cattle goes in front. So in the Bible it says, my sheep know my voice. My sheep follow me. And the shepherd takes the sheep to greener pastures. Saru tanabim kala battle araganeno endera, isn't it? And the shepherd carries a stick to give protection. When a wolf comes to grab a sheep, who gives protection? Shepherd. So beautiful way of talking about leader-member relationship, isn't it? So shepherd is a very good example of talking about leadership in action. Clear? Me as a leader. How many of you all think you are a leader? Raise your hand. How many of you all think you are a leader? Some raise it high, some raise it low, some are looking at others, some have not raised their hand. This is a typical response I get every time when I ask this question. Why? We have a myth. We think leaders are at the top, we are at the top. Nayakyo udai apiyokko bimai. That's a myth. I'll tell you through a story. So there's this there's this rural area. The roads were in very bad shape in one part of Sri Lanka. So there's a road full of cavities, potholes and garrets. Abalang tatveti bicha marga. So one evening, when the dusk was setting in, a person was walking alone in that road. He didn't see a huge cavity in the middle. He fell into the cavity and he got himself injured. And with greatest difficulty, he moved out and he was crawling and moving, cursing everyone, thinking of Road Development Authority and giving birth certificates to the Road Development Authority officials, and went away. That's person number one. Then came a lady who also was walking alone. She also didn't see the cavity in the middle. She also fell into the cavity. With greatest difficulty, she walked out and she was bleeding, cursing, crying, weeping, and slowly walked away. That's person number two. Then came a youngster who was also coming. And he saw the cavity. Instead of avoiding the cavity and going away, he went to a nearby tree and plucked a branch of a tree and brought it and kept just in the middle of the cavity to show others that there's some danger. Then he went away. That's person number. Tell me, out of the three, who is the real leader? Person number 1, 2, or 3? Obviously, no brainer. Person number 3. Why? Why? Reason? He did the right thing at the right time with the right resources in producing the right. That's what leadership is. So let me tell you the golden truth in leadership. What is the golden truth? Leadership is more to do with decisions and actions. Decisions and actions than to do with positions and titles. Positions and titles. පට්ටන් තනතුරු තානාන්තර නෙමෙයි තීරණ ක්‍රියාවන් සහ ප්‍රතිඵල. Leadership is more to do with decisions and action than to do with positions and titles. That's a good news, isn't it? So leaders are found everywhere. It's not, of course, I'm not insulting the corporate hierarchy. There are corporate leaders, but there are others. It's more a mindset than anything else. Leadership is a mindset. I met Professor Rob Goffey from London Business School. He did some seminars in Sri Lanka. He said, we have a fantastic leader in London Business School. Fantastic leader. So we were asking questions. We were inquisitive. Tell us more. A fantastic leader in London Business School. He said, she's in charge of the toilet cleaning department. Fantastic leader in London Business School is in charge of toilet cleaning department. So what is the good news? It's non-hierarchical. Every level in the hierarchy you get leaders. But what is the challenge? Are we recognizing them enough as leaders? That's the question. So remember, it's decisions and actions than positions and titles. True enough, there are positional leaders, but it's more a mindset than anything else. Now let me ask the same question. Now, how many of you all think you are a leader? Let's see. How many of you all think you are a leader now? Good. Every hand went up. Give a big round of applause. So spread the good news to others. And no more Nayake Uday up your Kumbima Viva, no. It's a mindset. Napoleon Bonaparte, civil leader or a military leader? Military. He said something very interesting. What did he say? Shall I read out? A leader is a dealer in hope. Nayake Balaporottu Janita Karnake. Say in the battlefront, when the enemy is more powerful, your troops are getting collapsed one after the other. And the remaining troops, are they happy or unhappy? The remaining people, are they confident or lacking confidence? So who should give them courage? Leader. Come on, guys, we can win. Let's go ahead. We'll fight. Let's do it. So leader becomes a dealer in hope. But unfortunately, what happens? Sometimes the opposite. Leader becomes destroyer of hope. So I heard this story from a government department some time ago. There was this Sunday newspaper item that the department will be shut down. And people didn't know anything about it. They came to know about it through the Sunday news item. And when they went to work on Monday, they went to the boss's room. And they all were very insecure. They were very uncomfortable. And boss was relaxedly reading a newspaper inside. And one person had the courage to go in. He went in and started the conversation. Sir, ये पत्र दूँ आपे department के वाहन देने को लगता है. मामा दान ने आओ, मात तेरे मासे pension ने ना. तम ज़िलत मनोनारी हुआ अगर. I don't know. I'm also retiring next month. You better find something else. That's his casual response. Is that how you deal with hope? No, that's not the way. You have a responsibility to deal with hope, isn't it? So during challenging times, during COVID and post-COVID, some leaders were really smart. Without allowing their people to leave, they clicked them. They got them saying, "Api ivasaka nimu komari meka kaagane yamu make karamu." Meet vada honda mattamaka api. See the point. So you have to have that thing. Clear? You have to be a dealer in hope. Agree? 3 types of leaders. Who said? Lao Tzu. Who is Lao Tzu? Founder of Confucianism. Have you heard about Confucianism? An ancient tradition in China, Confucianism. I hope he was not confused. So he says 3 types of leaders. Who are they? Say out loud. Grumpy leaders, good leaders, and great leaders. Who is a grumpy leader? Good or bad? Bad, cruel, ugly, wicked. But why do we still call them leaders? They achieve results either by hook or by crook. Kokken nathan kekking. Pratipalapen. So I remember in a particular factory that I was working, there was a general production manager. He was the first to come to work with a briefcase every morning. And then a simple, innocent factory worker comes across him. Out of sheer respect, the worker says, "Good morning, sir." Guess what's his response? "E production kid." That's how he greets people. E production kid. And no wonder people thought more about his parents than about him. Giving birth certificates very open. See, that's a classic. Who is a good leader? People like to work. People enjoy working. People are happy. That's a good leader. Then who's a great leader? Okay, let me put it this way. What makes a great leader different from a good leader? Tell me. What makes a great leader different from a good leader? Any thoughts? Sorry? Good, good. Who says something when other people don't say? Other responses? Who? Works with a mission, vision. Even a good leader might work with vision. What is the difference? Cutting edge difference. Others? Some are there. Others? Others? What makes a great leader different from a good leader? That's my question. Any other thoughts? I'll give you a clue. Lao Tzu puts it profoundly. Great leader is a leader when the team says, "We did it ourselves." Team says, "We did it ourselves." So when the team says, "We did it," then what about the leader? No. Leader acts like a catalyst. Catalyst. You know what a catalyst is, isn't it? Utpreraka catalyst. Catalyst. The way sugar dissolves and make your tea tastier. The way salt dissolves and make your dish tastier. Leader acts like a catalyst. So the good news is that great leader does not have followers. A great leader has a bunch of empowered leaders. Empowered leaders. Empowered leaders. So in simple terms, a great leader is a leader breeder. Great leader is a leader breeder. Leader breeder. නායකයන්ව බෝ කරන කෙනෙක්. නායකයන්ව බිහි කරන කෙනෙක්. Great leader is a leader breeder. That's the beauty of it. Everyone think and act like a leader. So the leader becomes the inspirational point. Whether the leader is physically there or not is immaterial. What matters is the inspiration, influence, initiation. Clear? So are you willing to become a great leader? Or is it just a mere Chinese concept? Oh, again, no, it's practical, it's relevant, it's applicable. How? Jim Collins come to our rescue. Jim Collins. Who is Jim Collins? An American researcher. He studied successful, sustained American enterprises. And based on his solid research, he came with one solid finding. Who is more important than what? No matter what is vision, mission, targets, goals, what is more important? Who? Who means leader. Leader can make or break. Very simple finding, isn't it? Leader can make or, and we have seen that in Sri Lanka very often, isn't it? Leader can make or break. It's applicable to institutions as well as for the nations. Leader can make or break. So leadership makes a big difference. So he wrote the book, Good to Great. How many of you are book fans? Book fans? He has two other books. Built to Last. Built to Last. Other one is Great by Choice. Do an Amazon search, you get all Jim Collins books. Very interesting reading. All solid research based. So he presents a hierarchy. What is a hierarchy? Step by step approach. So it's a pyramid type of thing. So this is what it is. So starting point is what? Level 1, highly capable individual. Level 1, you can write down highly capable individual. So why it is the starting point? Imagine that you joined the day to your organization. You were taken in, you were recruited, isn't it? Others were not selected. You are the chosen one. You were selected. Why? Because of your capability. Highly capable individual. So what happens when you join an organization? Can you continue as an isolated individual? Can you be a hudekala charitayak? No, then you have to be a team player. Second one is contributing team member. You have to be a team player, contributing team member. And when you do so well as a team member, you are no longer a team member, you become leader or competent manager. You become a manager. So as you move along, you might think this is a promotional path. This is not a promotional path. I would rather call it maturity journey. It's a maturity journey. Parinata bhave gamanak. Maturity. M-A-T-U-R-I-T-Y. Maturity journey. J-U-R-N-E-Y. In that maturity, R-N-E-Y. Maturity journey. For this journey to happen, you need two things. What are the two things? Capacity and opportunity. You have to build your capacity and you have to explore opportunity. Expand your capacity, explore opportunities. For example, from level 1 to 2, capacity. Level 2 to 3, opportunity. And you do so well. And you are no more in charge of just one team. You are in charge of several teams. So level 4, effective leader. Results showing leader. Effective leader. Level 4. And you do even better as you move along. So what is the pinnacle? Agra Pale. Level 5, great leader. Level 5 is great leader. So what are the 5 levels? Shall you identify what is level 1? Highly capable. And what is level 2? And what is level 3? And level 4? And level 5? Great leader. According to Jim Collins, a great leader has 2 remarkable features. What are those? Will and humility. Will and humility. If I am to expand into two words, professional will and personal humility. වෘත්තිය මේ අධිෂ්ඨානය පුද්ගලික නිහතමානීත්වය. Personal humility. Something happened. Personal humility. Add the word personal. Personal humility. වෘත්තිය මේ අධිෂ්ඨානය පුද්ගලික නිහතමානීත්වය. And there's a nice English saying, if there's a will, there's a way. හිත ඇත්නම් පත කුඩාද. And also very humble, simple, down to earth. මහ පොළොවේ පය ගහලා ඉන්න. අනිත් අයගේ කර උඩින් යන්නේ අනිත් ඒවා කරේ තියාගෙන යන. Like a shepherd carrying wounded sheep, isn't it? When a sheep is wounded, the shepherd carries the sheep. The shepherd knows the sheep needs help. Clear? So who are such great leaders? I put all the great religious leaders there, isn't it? Buddha, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Hindu gurus. But how about a business example? I'll give you one example. Have you heard about Warren Buffett, chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, one of the top 10 richest in the world? He's a very simple person, lives in an average house, goes around in an average car. He doesn't come to media to brag or boast, very media shy, but takes brilliant investment decisions, very sharp in his decisions, professional will, and very humble, simple. See, professional will, personal humility. Who are the people? Who are the Sri Lankan people? I'm very reluctant to give Sri Lankan examples unless I know. I can talk about one person, Deshabandhu Dr. Mahesh Amalit. We invited him to PIM to give a lecture. Amazing. So people call him Mahesh, and very simple, humble. He had humble beginnings from Nagindas. He had a vision to build a global enterprise, world-class company. He has already done that, isn't it? With MS, with his two brothers, Mahesh, Ajay, and Sharad, three brothers, MS. So pretty much professional will, very humble, simple, down to earth. See, there are great leaders like that. Sometimes we might not know about them because they're not coming and saying, I'm a great leader. No, they might be there, but we don't know. See? And now a discussion. Are you not well today? So you can join a team. We want to have a discussion. Identify where you are right now in this hierarchy, where you are right now. Second question, what you need to do to move to the next level? Capacity-wise, opportunity-wise. What sort of capacity you need to build? What sort of opportunity you need to have? So identify where you are. Some people, when I say, they say I'm in between 2 and 3. Then I'll ask the question, is it closer to 2 or closer to 3? Your level and justification. Clear reasoning, why? And you might say, I'm in level, I'm in level 5. Wow. Then I'll stop my session and invite you to continue the remaining part. And you might say, I'm even beyond level 5. Superb. We'll make the dimensions and make a statue of you and keep it in front of PI. If you're beyond level 5, that's okay, no problem. So identify where you are and share that with your neighbor. So where am I right now and what I need to do to move to the next level? Talk to one another. So 2 to 3 people together. Table discussion. 5 minutes. All right. Job done. Shall I give a big hand to everyone? I want some volunteers sharing where you are right now and what you need to do to move to the next level. Yes, please. Microphone, yeah, for the benefit of the virtual part. And I'll come to virtual participants as well. I need one or two from your end as well. Yes. Yes. There is level 3. Okay. Okay. So anything you need to do more to move to the next, anything you need to do more to move to the next level. Excellent. Shall we give a big round of applause? Second thought sharing from the physical participants. Shall you have a lady to have gender equality? One of the ladies. Okay. Stand up and tell. Yes. Okay. In between 2 and 3, but closer to 3. So why not fully 3? To expand the scope. Are you reporting to Rivka? All right. I work with Rivka in the ICC, International Chamber of Commerce Policy Committee. I'm there, yes. And of course, you need opportunities, isn't it? They have to earmark you and they have to give you more responsibilities, isn't it? Excellent. Shall I give a big round of applause? Third opportunity is for a virtual participant. Can I have one? Whoever is motivated can share. Hello.
Well, sir, I am also in, I would say it's a level 3.
Level 3.
Again, it's one of the family company. So like for people like in here, because of the job security, so they stick to a company where they are comfortable and, you know, security wise, which is, they think it's long last. So unless we have an opportunity, for example, I'm reporting to a CFO. So unless he leaves and I won't be able to, you know, go to the next level. So it's kind of that opportunity as well. And to develop myself, I'm doing a course like MBA, for example, and other self-development programs.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Shall I give a big round of applause? So I'm sure those 3 examples amply prove the point that we can still do that. So I'm not interested in knowing just where you are. I'm more interested in knowing whether you are on the move. Journey is more important than the current level. You should be on the move. It's an ongoing journey, isn't it? It has to be a continuous improvement, Kaizen in Japanese. Clear? That's what we need. Moving ahead, triple mastery of leaders. Leaders demonstrate 3 mastery. So what is a mastery? The word mastery means what? Any guess? Mastery? You are real authority on something. You are really professional. Say, for example, the way a Sirasa superstar contestant coming with a tag and then standing in a circle sings. In contrast, how Rukanta Gunatilaka sings, taking charge of the entire stage. So what is the difference? Who is the maestro out of the two? Rukanta. He has a mastery of singing. Chitrasena and Vajra, they have the mastery of dancing, isn't it? They are really, really at it. So any leader should have this triple mastery. What is the first one? Say out loud. People mastery. Minusunge hadara danena hitata wadina kata karanla veda karana. So people mastery. Throughout the history, some leaders use this, some leaders misuse this, some leaders abuse this. Take Adolf Hitler. He had a crazy cause of killing 6 million Jewish people. I remember going to Vienna, Austria. I saw the Hitler's palace where he did that, and everyone said, "Hail Hitler," isn't it? Hail Hitler. So there were people willing to commit suicide for his crazy cause. But he knew how to attract people. People mastery. And in Sri Lanka, we had Velupille Pirabaharan, isn't it? And imagine a suicide bomber having dinner with him before the suicidal mission. So he brainwashed them. So Velupille Pirabaharan could get people to his side, isn't it? Those are negative examples. What about positive examples? I mentioned about a general production manager. There was another general production manager in that factory. He was the first to go whenever there was a funeral of someone's near and dear. And people loved him. And they said, "Me mahatana rattaram mahatti." See, that's the impression he created. When you appeal to people, hearts and minds, they give their best, isn't it? I was sent to India for training when I was at Nestle. My last job before joining here, I mentioned. So I was in Punjab, the city called Moga. Largest Nestle factory in South Asia is in Moga, Punjab. So there I met this remarkable HR director, Stanley Samuel. Every day he does this ritual diligently. It's a massive cafeteria, can occupy more than 1,000 people. So all have lunch together, of course, symbolically together, but then senior people have their own clusters, own cliques, but symbolically everyone together. So he does this ritual every day. He announces those who are celebrating birthdays, and he gives a small card and a small gift, and he invites them and he hugs them in front of everyone. Imagine you are a minor worker and you are getting hugged by the HR director in front of everyone. It goes a long way, isn't it? He might be up in the sky and so much of motivated, isn't it? How much would it cost? Not even 50 Indian rupees, the card and the small gift. But the impact it creates, amazing. See, that's the people master. So when I was at Nestle Pannala, I used to communicate with Diane Gomez, who was at Slimline Pannala. We were predominantly male workforce. He had predominantly female workforce, Slimline Pannala. So he shared this interesting story with me. He said they did an experiment where he did a survey among the young sewing girls. Who is your favorite hero? He gave 3 names. Vijay Kumaratunga, Sanat Jayasuriya, General Denzel Kobbekadu. For them to vote. Who do you think got highest votes? Sanat Jayasuriya? No. Vijay Kumaratunga? They asked a question. Vijay Ave Koind. One said from India. Another one said from Hantani Kathav. That's a side story. But who got the highest votes? General Denzel Kobbekadu. Then what did Dan do? He collected all the available rare video footage of life and death of General Denzel Kobbekadu. And he made a composite video. And he summoned all the sewing girls to a large area. And he showed this video on a wide screen. And he says, the amount of emotional hype you saw in those girls, it is so high. And it is so high that if he had told him, let's go and burn Pannala town, they would have simply done that. They would have simply done that. See the power of people mastery. It can be used for construction as well as destruction. Sad thing is politicians use it for destruction. In Sri Lanka, it's very easy to rise emotions of people, isn't it? And you can use it for good things, you can use it for bad things. That's a danger. So, people mastery. Can you develop it further? Think about it. Second one is task mastery. As tax experts, tax consultant, you absolutely need that. You essentially need that. But it's task mastery. You should be the best person in what you're doing, isn't it? Handle it the best possible way. No one should complain. And there's a nice English saying, know your onions. You should know what you're doing, isn't it? So there was this story about a long time ago when Ceylon Transport Board times, there was a political appointed leader to a technical division. He didn't know anything about technical matters, but he came through political patronage. And a technician came running. Sir, my transformer karan. He said, Tallu kar. He thought transformer is also a four-wheel vehicle. So when he said that, what are the reaction from the people? Are alut boster? Better than apita kanin ring. See, you lose your credibility, isn't it? If you don't know your stuff, you lose your credibility, isn't it? So you lose your respect, you lose your image, isn't it? So know what you are doing. And don't take me wrong, you can't know everything under sun and moon, but essentials should be very thorough. If you're working with a team, you should give them the impression, I know what you are doing. I had been doing what you have been doing. Don't try to play the fool with me. I can check. That's a smartness you need to have. Third one is very subtle, context mastery. So what is the context? It can be history, it can be the culture, it can be the mystery surrounding the organization. Have you seen some smart leaders burn their fingers and they get easily ejected very soon? Why? They don't know the context. Some people who have worked very successfully overseas, they come to Sri Lanka and they struggle. But the context is different. Some people work very well in a multinational, they join a family company and they struggle. Why? The context is different. Sometimes family companies can be very peculiar structures. Why? Husband and wife both are directors. So the decision taken at the boardroom can be changed in the bedroom. Complexities associated. See, context is different. Sometimes there's a chairman appointed, but who is really taking the decisions? Chairman's wife or chairman's son, isn't it? So we ask the question, who is calling the shots? That old fellow? No, the young fellow. See, context is different. So you have to. Politicians are very smart at this, isn't it? They know how to have, there's a big word called geopolitical challenges, isn't it? They know how to balance New York and New Delhi and Beijing, China, isn't it? Balancing, isn't it? So when India wants a ship to come to Sri Lanka, they say, okay, fine, come. And when China wants a ship to come, okay, fine, come. We give part of the country to India, part of the country to China, the remaining part to America. Geopolitical realities, context mastery. Think about you. Are you having those masteries? What is the first one? People mastery. Second one? Task mastery. Third one? Context mastery. Leadership theory classification. I will not cover this. You have a book, isn't it? So there's a chapter on leadership. You can go through it. I'll just give a brief skeleton. Trait theories. The original way of looking at leadership was traits. So what is a trait? Give me another word. Trait means what? Sorry? A character. Like characteristics, traits, a particular feature, trait. So this perennial debate, ongoing debate is what? Debate. Are leaders born or are leaders made? So what do you think? There was this earlier theory where when leader is born, a great leader is born, supernatural things happen. When Buddha was born, when Prince Siddhartha was born, there were 7 lotus flowers blossomed in Lumbini garden, isn't it? When baby Jesus was born, there was a comet, Valgataru, a comet appeared above the Bethlehem sky. Supernatural phenomena, isn't it? So leaders are associated with supernatural. In a Buddha's case, in Lakkana Sutra, they talk about Mahapurusa Lakshana, isn't it? Mahapurusa Lakshana, the great person characteristics, isn't it? They're all trait driven. So what is the latest explanation? Are leaders born or are leaders made? If all leaders are born, we will run out of money because there's no leadership consultancy. If all leaders are born, there's no need to develop leaders, isn't it? So leadership training will be all gone, isn't it? So we will not earn something extra. So the latest is what? Babies are born, leaders are made. Babies are born, leaders are made. So it's 1% nature and 99% nurture. There's some genetic element, but more influences through the exposure, through the environment, through the education. So the good news is that leaders can be developed. Leaders can be developed. That's a good news for all of us. Second is behavioral, how leaders behave. There are models like situational leadership and so on and so forth, behavioral. Third one is integrative. We combine trait and behaviors together. And final one, contingency. How you adjust your style accordingly. In a crisis, your style is different to a normal situation, like that contingency. So there are theories in each of these categories. You can read the textbook and get some additional information. I will not be testing you on this, but this for your additional knowledge, extra information. Okay? But this we are going to spend time. Leadership can be viewed as transactional versus transformational. So what is a transaction? You go to a boutique and give 100 rupees and say, Mudilali pan ratala den. Matya seed dibu kalagi then it kids. 140, 150. So that's you give money and they give you a loaf of bread. That's a transaction. In accounting, you talk about debit and credit. It's a transaction. In IT, we talk about gigabyte, megabyte, terabyte transaction. And where's the transformation? You boil water and the liquid water becomes vapor. Transformation. How do you relate this to leadership? I'll give you a true story. When I joined Nestle, I spent a lot of time in talking to people. I went from department to department talking to people. So when I went to engineering department, I saw this very peculiar thing. It was always headed by an expatriate, a foreigner. Why? Inventory was huge. Huge inventory because a lot of towers, equipment and so on. So Nestle wanted always an expatriate to head engineering. So the people were saying, sir, so many people came and they squeezed us. They got the best of us. They got the best work from us. And they got the credit and they got promoted and they vanished. They didn't even bother to be in touch with us. Except for this remarkable gentleman who was like a fatherly figure who came from Switzerland. And we learned a lot by working with him. He was like a great teacher, great trainer. And he thoroughly enjoyed Sri Lankan culture. He used to come to our festivals. He used to go trips with us and he enjoyed Sri Lanka. And he also got a promotion. And we achieved a lot during his time. He empowered us. We did a lot of things with him. And he went away, but he's still in touch with us. He sends New Year greetings for Sinhala and Tamil New Year. So what is the difference between that one and the rest? What is the difference? All others followed transactional leader. He followed transformation. So in simple terms, transformation leader is another version of a great leader. It's another way of looking at great leader. So when you have the leader, you can have different lenses, no? So one lens is great leadership. Another lens is transformation leadership. Clear? So transformational leader transforms followers into who? Followers into leaders, empowered leaders. How to do that? George Burns come up with 4 ways of doing that. What are the 4 ways? Transformation leadership can be done in 4 ways. First one, say out loud, individualize consideration. In slang English, we say different strokes for different folks. Different strokes for different folks. For example, in your team, you might have very experienced person or very early entrant or very educated person. Can you treat all those 3 people same? No. When you have a young management trainee, you can give a much tougher target to that person. If you have an elderly person about to retire, You might be a little considerate, isn't it? You might be having a expecting mother, a pregnant lady who will go for confinement next month. So you are not pushing her too much, isn't it? You are considerate. See, that's how you show individualized consideration. If I remember my PIM directorship times, I ran 7 years almost here. So I had 12 academics reporting to me. Some of them were my teachers. I used to call them sir. Some of them were my students. They used to call me sir. Some of them were my colleagues. So they used to call me Ajanta. I used to call them by their first name. So can I have the same way of approaching all those three categories? No, different. That's individualized consideration. Clear? Second one is what? Say out loud. Inspirational motivation. You should be the best motivator to your team. Inspirational motivation. So once I went to meet a friend of mine in a company, and he was in a very bad mood. I asked why. Machang adu udayam boss why dekka adana kedawat thambu. Why? The boss has become such a bad icon, isn't it? I hope no one will talk about you like that in your organization, isn't it? So you should be the best inspirer for your team. But what is the challenge? What is the challenge? Can you inspire others if you are not motivated? That's the problem. Some people come to work, they park their car, and they put their heart also into the car, and they come to the office as if no heart, isn't it? So they are highly demotivated. They are glued to the computer. No, can't do, come tomorrow. All energy loss. So when the boss is like that, it spreads all the demotivation to the entire office. Office becomes a dead cemetery, isn't it? No motivation. So what is the challenge? If you are a leader, you have to motivate yourself. Every morning you have to motivate yourself. You should be the best motivator, the best motivated person in your entire organization. So then you will inspire others. You can't inspire others without you inspiring you. Like what video said, organize yourself before organizing others. Inspire yourself before inspiring others. Clear? What is the third one? Intellectual stimulation. Say out loud. Intellectual stimulation. You have to stimulate others to use their brain. Some mistake leaders do, that the leaders want to become almighty problem solvers. Prashna visadadanu labi. And the people bring problems, it solves the problems, and people say, boss budueva. So boss becomes the sun, everyone revolves around the sun like solar system. But what is the challenge? When the boss is not there, everyone is habak, isn't it? So, and no one knows what to do. That's why Walt Disney had a nice tag in front of his table. Don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions. So then that is the way of educating people to solve their own problems, isn't it? There's a Chinese statement: if you give fish for someone, you feed him only for a meal. If you train him how to catch fish, you feed him for the rest of the life, isn't it? So you have to train. So challenge them to think intellectually. And some people forget that they have a brain. They think they have only two hands. The brain is more important than the brawn, isn't it? The head. So give them a challenging project. Give them a problem to solve. Put the person into a cross-functional team. And there's a powerful Japanese technique. Ask the question, why? Ask the question, why? 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 Don't allow people to come with excuses. Challenge them. Why? See? Intellectual stimulation. And then people will get the impression, boss sekka boru ba. Boss ga out, you have to go prepared. Like Richard Lewis did second time. Boss will ask questions. You need to be smart enough to answer. I had to be ready. I had to have all the facts and figures ready. That's the impression you need to give. That's the sharpness you need to show. Finally, what is that? Idealize influence. Paramadarshi, Adarshi. You need to be a role model for your team. Role model. You have to walk the talk, practice what you preach, dance the dialogue. Unfortunately, opposite is seen sometimes. Like the crab story. Have you heard the crab story? What Rohana Beddige is singing? Mahakakuluwa podiye unta kelling yanda kiyala adena. So Mahakakuluwa kelling and monopiece do adeta. So don't be a big crab telling the small crabs to go straight where you are going sideways, isn't it? That's what's happening in some places, isn't it? So I will not comment on the presidential candidates, but I don't see idealized influences. So what are the 4 I's once again? Individualized consideration, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, idealized influence. So think about you and give marks out of 5 and pick outside. So pick one I to work on as your improvement area. Out of the 4 I's, pick one and share that with your neighbors. Share that with you. And tell them why you have selected that I. Talk to one another. Pansari, Saddehin Pansari. All right. Just a quick scan. How many of you all want to improve individualized consideration as an improvement area? How many of you all want to improve inspirational motivation? How many of you all want to improve intellectual stimulation? How many of you all want to improve idealized influence? Good. So I'll give some tips. Individualized consideration, have a one-to-one meetings. Sometimes when you have meetings with large number of people, some people speak, some people don't speak. When you have one-to-one meeting, other person has to open up, isn't it? Have a one-to-one meeting. Second one, inspirational motivation. Every morning, start the day with positive self-talk. You know what positive self-talk is? You go in front of a mirror and start talking to you. I do it every day for the past 25 years. Ajant, I love you. I trust you. I have faith in you. I have confidence. Provided there's no one around. Otherwise, they might think you're stupid. So find a personal space where no one is there. Talk to yourself. Positive self-talk, according to psychology, is very powerful, isn't it? Positive self-talk. And then intellectual stimulation. Ask the question, why? Why? Don't allow people to just give excuses. Demand excellence. Idealize influence. Practice values. Be a value-based person. Others will respect you. They should say that you are a principled person, isn't it? Can do? Happy? Give a big hand up to everyone. Big round of applause. Yin Yang of leadership. What is Yin Yang? We have a room called Yin Yang, isn't it? Where do you get Yin Yang? It's again Chinese symbol, Confucianism symbol. You get that in a national flag. Where? Korea, South Korea, isn't it? So Yin Yang is a very interesting concept. Have you watched Kung Fu Panda movie? Where the Kung Fu Panda is carrying the energy ball, isn't it? Energy ball, is it? So it's basically Yang is the bright side, Yin is the dark side. But they are opposite but not separate. Why? There's Yin in Yang. There's Yang in Yin. They are constant flux. So I use this to talk about art and science of leadership. Science is open, transparent, predictable. Art is deep and intuitive. So these are the Yang aspects of leadership. Read out. Inspirational, results, clarity. And the Yin aspects, intuition, relationships, care. Some authors call this feminine side. This is masculine side. I don't know. Some interpretation. Intuition versus inspiration, relationship versus results, care versus clarity. So see whether you are more Yang oriented, whether you are more Yin oriented. If you are more yin oriented, start working on yang aspects. If you are more yang oriented, start working on yin aspects. So you need both. Leadership is a science on one side, art on the other side. So you need both art and science. Clear? To wind up, two more things to do. Blake and Morton's leadership grid. One of the very popular training models. Trainers use this a lot. Blake and Morton came up with this behavioral model. Have you heard about this before? Anyone? Blake Morton leadership grid. So there are two sides. Concern for production, concern for people. Or concern for results, concern for relationships. Concern for task, concern for talent. Different ways. So these are the how a leader deal with achieving tasks. Here, how to deal with people. So Blake and Morton came with this 9 grid, 9x9 grid. It's like a mathematical model. So on y-axis, concern for people, high, low. There are coordinates from 1 to 9. In x-axis, concern for production, high, low. Again, coordinates from 1 to 9. Can you remember Cartesian coordinates? We learned in mathematics x comma y. Grade 6 maths, isn't it? Grade 6. So how many scenarios they have highlighted? 5. So let's start from highest concern for people, lowest concern for production. So what is the name they have given? Country club management. Ka palla, B palla, jolly karapal. So people come and do everything other than working. And they say, Mara bossa, nee my boss, stop pa. See, highest concern for people, but lowest concern for production. But can they survive? Short term. Long term, they will perish. There's one extreme, 1,9. Actually, it should be comma. They have put it as dot, but comma. X, comma, Y. And the other extreme, highest concern for production, lowest concern for people. Authority, compliance, management. I don't care whether you are well or ill, you have to do the work. Komar vede on. You become like a slave master. People have to work like slaves. Authority, compliance. Efficiency is more important. Production is important. See, during COVID, sorry to say, some organizations, they give Panadols and ask people to work, isn't it? And it created a Brandix poker, isn't it? I don't know whether it's true. So that's bad, isn't it? So concern for people, lowest, concern for production, highest. So this is bad, this is bad. Then what about this one? Worse. Low concern for people, low concern for production. Impoverish management. I remember it says poverty. Poverty means poor. Poor in both. Poor in people focus, poor in production. Impoverish management. Typical political appointees put just warming chairs. No concern for people, no concern for production. Their concern is only about their perks, privileges. Kiya kambunadu, kuttiya kiyad, gana kiyad, amati padavi mokad, paninde lasti. Gembu wage ready වෙලා ඉන්නවා. අන්තිමට කියන්නේ ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් උදාර පරිත්‍යාගයක් කරනවා. උදාර පරිත්‍යාගයක්. Isn't it? So, impoverish management. So if this is bad, this is bad, this is worse, what could be a good starting point? Middle of the road, madhyama pratipada. Some concern for people, some concern for production. Middle of the road. 5,5. So 1,9, 9,1, 1,1 here, 5,5. Then draw a diagonal, draw an arrow from here to here. Diagonal movement. Ideally, you should move from 5,5 to 9,9. Highest concern for people, highest concern for production, 9,9. Team management. Team management. You get the best results, you have the best relationships. You maintain the task achievement with the right talent. Highest concern for people, highest concern for production. I'll give you a real story told to me by one of our MBAs. She joined MAs as a management trainee. So in the first week, you have something called, when you join an organization, first week, orientation, induction, familiarization. So in the schedule, afternoon at 2 o'clock, meet the chairman. So she went and spoke to the secretary. She said, go and knock the door. So she went. She's a little excited now. Chairman's office. She went and knocked the door. And Mahesh came and opened the door and shook hands. I am Amaline. Come in. I am Mahesh. Come in. She didn't expect that. And Mahesh asked her to sit in front of his table. And he started his story, how he started at Nagin Das. She got another shock. She never thought he would be so humble. And then he asked her to share her story. Where did you study? How did you graduate? And so on and so forth. So she never expected that informal conversation. And in the middle, Mahesh Shamalin took a magazine, Harvard Business Review, and gave it to her. By the way, I want you to summarize this article for me into one A4 sheet. It is like 15 to 20 page article. I want you to summarize this for me for one page, and gave it to her. And she said, okay, fine. And they had a long chat. They discussed a lot of things. And before she left, Mahesh said, by the way, I want that summary by 5 o'clock today. By the way, I want that summary by 5 o'clock today. He knew very well that she was under familiarization. He didn't say, well, you feel like doing it. When you finish, you can bring. No. He said, I want it by 5 o'clock. So he knew it's a challenge for her. She has to find now time in between the orientation to do that, isn't it? It's tough. See, has concern for production. Tough. Has concern for people. That's the smartness of a leader, isn't it? It's not pep talk. It's not just touchy. No, you have to get work done. Be smart in being polite and being productive. That's the amazing part. So she learned the lesson, isn't it? If I work here, I have to deliver results. No excuse. Perform or perish. See, day one, he gave that message, isn't it? And she submitted that report sharp at 5. And then he was happy, isn't it? See, highest concern for people, highest concern for production. Okay. Now, in the book, there's one questionnaire. You can locate it. And if you do that questionnaire, you can identify where you stand. You can give marks for concern for people, concern for production. You can plot your score. And you can see naturally where you stand. I'll leave that to you as a homework, at least to open the book. If you are not open the book and find that questionnaire. Blake Morton Grid. The same name will not be there, saying concern for people, concern for production. I know there's a questionnaire. Find that, and then you can locate where you stand. Where you stand. Can I leave that as a homework for you? Find that, and then you can plot your people score and production score. Let's see who will find it. I have it in my book. Okay, I'll tell you in the afternoon, but I want you to find it. So what is the page? So what are the two things? Is there a questionnaire? Okay, I'll check that when I meet you in the afternoon. Okay. So my simple expectation is find where you stand. Are you more towards people or are you more towards production? And work towards that. Ideally, you should be where the ideal place? Where is the ideal place? Here, you should be here. At least start from here. Move here. Finally, authentic leadership. I think one of the latest models, because we see bogus leaders around, bogus leaders, fake leaders, so-called leaders who are not really Galpilima but Bolpilima, isn't it? They appear like Galpilima, but in reality they are Bolpilima. Like we had Vadakarana Ape Virua, and we realize what that Virua has done later on, isn't it? Okay? Authentic leader means you are genuine, the natural leader. 5 aspects. What are those? Shall you read out? Pursues purpose with passion. Second one, practice solid values. Third one, connect with others. Fourth one, demonstrates self-discipline. Fifth one, lead with heart as well as the head. Say Gandhi is a classic example, isn't it? He had all 5, isn't it? Particularly self-discipline, you need to have that. 4 C's for team leaders, just for the completion. 4 C's for team leaders. If you are a team leader, Make sure you have these 4. What are those? First one, competent, knowledge in basics. Second one, curious, willing to seek and try new things. And they say curiosity is the mother of invention, isn't it? As Kumaratung Munidas said, "Alut alut denotanana jatiyalo nonaki." So there were so many apples fell on so many heads, but it was only one person who became curious. Who was that? Isaac Newton. And then he created theory of gravity, isn't it? He asked the question, why this apple fell onto my head? Curiosity resulted in developing a theory, isn't it? Third, see, courageous, willing to take bold stands, have a point of view. Now you as a tax consultant, expert, should have a point of view. Sometimes you might, you should not go for a heated argument, but however, there's another side. So what you say has a point, but there is another side. However, yes, but, isn't it? Rather than going for a confrontation, show the other side of the story. Be courageous to do that, isn't it? Bold enough. And there's the story about Sitambara Patavastra, isn't it? The king, someone brought a the most expensive cloth in the world, and only wise people can see that. And the king wants a dress done. And the tailor did that, and tailor gave that to the king. And no one is scared to tell that I can't see that. But they will be identified as foolish. And the king was wearing that and was parading. And everyone said, what a fantastic dress, superb, fabulous. And only a little child started shouting, Rajuru Aval with it. Because the courageous people are very less, isn't it? And a lot of people say, yes, sir, 3 bags full. Yes, madam, 3 bags, madam. Finally, caring. You got to willing to nurture people, caring. So what are the 4 C's? Competent, curious, courageous, and caring. So ask the question, am I competent enough? Am I curious enough? Am I courageous enough? Am I caring enough? So this is my motto in leadership. Say out loud. Those who serve, deserve leadership. Leadership is a calling to serve others. That's what SWRD Bandaranaike, former Prime Minister, said. Nayakage param yuthukam minisata seve kirim. Service orientation. So remember, leadership is not a crown, but more a cross. Through the cross, you can get the crown. I'm going to give you another activity. We'll perhaps, if time permits, do it during the lunch break. If not, after lunch. So I have given you an article, Abraham Selesnik. Managers and leaders, are they different? I have uploaded an article from Harvard Business Review. See whether you could locate it. Managers and leaders, are they different? Is it there? Just show it. Anyone having it? Managers and leaders. It's in the production portal. You can download. No? Sorry? No. It's under. Now, I think the video of I did 2 sessions 2 weeks ago. So the first video actually refers to session 10. They have put it as session 5, but what we covered was session 10. This one, an article, leaders and managers, are they different? Just check. It's there definitely in the portal. If you have a soft device, you can find it, isn't it? It's there, isn't it? Leaders and managers, are they different? Abraham Selesnik. Read the article and do a comparison table. At least we need 10 different comparisons. I'll give you a starting point. Managers manage, leaders lead. Managers maintain, leaders create. Like 1 or 2 words. Managers maintain the status, leaders question the status. Managers instruct people, leaders inspire people. Like that. Nice rhyming words. 10 differences. You can work as teams, isn't it? And now what we're going to do, as promised, we're going to watch 3 clippings from Gandhi movie. 3 clippings. So let me give you the background. South Africa. So I'm going to show you 3 clippings from Gandhi movie, where first clipping, Gandhi is still a budding lawyer. You know who a budding lawyer, isn't it? No need to do a pregnancy test. So he's an emerging lawyer in South Africa. And then he has an encounter with his wife and he appears in a public front, first clipping. Second clipping, Gandhi is not there in the scene. In his absence, his followers, so empowered leaders, how they really demonstrate true satyagraha, true ahimsa movement. The third one, Gandhi is produced in the British High Court. 3 clippings. And that shows the evolution of a leader. Watch them diligently and make your own comments, your observations. And we'll start the afternoon discussion with that. Okay. So this will take about 20 minutes. And if you want, you can do that exercise after that. I'll see you at 2 o'clock. But the session continues. Jude will play the video. Sorry, Jude Podaposkan. So my dear virtual participants, any questions before we watch 3 clippings from the Oscar award winning movie by Sir Richard Attenborough, Gandhi? Any questions? Any questions?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, please. Yes, leaders are risk takers. Leaders are risk takers. And sometimes managers might be risk averse. Leaders are risk takers. Yeah, that's another comparison. Leaders take calculated risks, isn't it? I think the best example I can think of, I gave that example this morning to the MBA batch. When 9/11 attack happened in US, next month we have the remembrance, isn't it? 11th of September 2001, Twin Towers were attacked. Aviation industry went through a huge dip. People got scared to fly, isn't it? 5 aircrafts were. So then airline industry was losing. That is the time Tim Clark, Emirates CEO, ordered 100 Boeing 777s. 100 Boeing 777s. And he got a massive discount. Why? Boeing was running out of business. So he took the risk. He knew when the industry bounces back, planes will be very expensive. So he used that opportunity to get that advantage. See, risk taking. Clear? Any other questions? So my dear virtual participants, any questions? Did you enjoy the session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so still the session continues. Watch these 3 clippings and take your own notes. At 2 o'clock, we'll start discussing these observations. So, over to Jude to play the video. Moderator Matakane.